What's going on YouTube? It's Monday International Do Not Train Chest today because everyone else will be and it'll be hard to find a bench. So what we're doing, we're actually at Brittany's house and this is her brother's kind of garage gym setup. We got the robe rack and we're training some legs. So I'm just going to be doing some front squats and deadlifts for the most part. Higher volume, getting back into the motion. As you guys know, took a little time off of some programming, so I need to get back that motor pattern. So that's what I'll be working on. And I just have a resistance band here. I want to show you guys what I like to do for mobility. Very simple. If you have resistance bands, your gym has them, anchor them onto a squat rack, a bench press, anything, and just like this. And I really like, for me, the front of my hips, hip flexors are a really tight area, and when squatting and sumo deadlifting, that tends to be a limiting factor. So what I like to do is step in between the loop of the band, take steps back so you create tension, and then go ahead and drop down on one knee. And what you'll be doing is you'll feel a stretch in the front of your hip right here, but you don't want to be leaning back, you don't want to be leaning forward. You should have a neutral posture, so this distance should remain the same, and you should focus on driving the glute that has the band attached to it forward. So right now what I'm thinking about is squeezing the right side of my glute as hard as I can, which will really stretch the front of my hips out. So I like to do this and hold it there for a little while until I feel that really tight pain go away. And then I like to just turn around and stretch it from the other way. So again, taking the band here, actually I'll do it with the other leg so you can see, and repeat the process for both legs, but put it right here in the hip crease, go ahead and kneel, lean forward, and now you're pulling from a different direction. And again, it's not about arching the back, you want to keep neutral, but just think about driving this glute forward. So we're stretching the front of our hip. So this is the majority of what I like to do for warming up. I also like to have the band where it is here. You're going to do a step inside of the band, put it right on your ass, and then we're going to sit down into somewhat of like a squat stance, get our knees in between our elbows, and just force our knees outwards. So we're really opening up the hips, and it's okay to go into a little bit of lumbar flexion here. You don't want to do that when your spine's being loaded with weight. But for this, since we just have a band resistance, it's okay to round that lower back a little bit and get a deep stretch. If you want to maintain neutral, you can go ahead and do so, but again, the main point is to really just open up those hips. So I would hang out here for a little while, and I'll show you the next warm-up in just a second. Alright, so this is another hip opener I really like to do. This isn't really the ideal situation where you want to do it. You want a flat wall, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. So we're going to take that same band, wrap it around our waist, and we're going to hook it around our knees. This might be difficult to do for some people, depending on the resistance of the band, but right now I'm really tight, so we're just going to go ahead, lay on our back, and again, there would be a wall here. So what you want to do is go ahead and put your feet up on a wall, and we're just focusing on opening up the hips like this. So feet pressed up against the wall, laying back, opening up the hips, and holding out for about a minute or so, depending on how tight you are. And there's two other variations where you can really open up the outer part of your hip. Again, foot on the wall. We're going to take one leg, cross it over the other, and focus on pushing down. I'll show you with the other leg so you can see. Just like this, and we're pushing to really open up all of this here. So this is another great pre-squat and pre-deadlift warm-up that you could do. And that's pretty much what I do for the majority. There's some dynamic leg swings and leg kicks that you could do, but I'm kind of limited in some of that with my lower back. If you guys are interested in seeing an entire video on all this, on proper warming up for lower body, upper body, you know, everyone's routine is different. Some people go in the gym and they squat, they're fine, but if you guys would like to see a full detailed video on this, just leave me a comment down below and I'd be more than happy to do that. So I'm going to do a little bit more warming up and then off to squat and deadlift.
Yeah! I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like 7 in the morning. But to start off the video, a lot of people ask what kind of music I listen to when I train, so I'll play a 2-second clip from what I was listening to while squatting. Alright, so I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with that kind of music, and it depends on my mood and what I'm training that day and how I feel, so it can range anywhere from some old school rock, I like my Van Halen and Metallica, all the way to some newer stuff, including rap, you know, stuff like Eminem, so I'm very open to different types of music. All really depends on my mood that day. So sometimes I like to just hop on the treadmill, do some cardio, let my hair down and listen to some Katy Perry, but obviously not serious. But as far as the training session went today, obviously I like to pick myself apart and I'm overly critical. So you could see the front squats here with 185. I was truly not very happy with them. I felt like I was losing some tightness in my upper back and maybe just going a little bit too deep. I like to keep my lower back a bit more neutral, but you guys can let me know in the comments below.
All right, so I probably jumped the gun a little bit. I was working with 185 and I just felt like I was tipping forward a little bit too much. And one of my problems is judging depth. Oftentimes I actually go too low and I have a little bit of lumbar flexion. So I need to know when to stop short right below 90 degrees. So what I did was brought the ego back in, lowered the weight a little bit. There's only 155 here, so I figured I'd do a couple of pause reps and see how those feel. I'm trying not to use the belt, so I'm really trying to build up my core. So we'll see how this set goes.
Alright, so as you can see here, these front squats with a pause looked much better. I felt like I had a lot more control, and obviously that's because the weight was lighter, but sometimes we just have to take a step back and really practice. As we all know, there's always room for improvement. Even the best squatters and deadlifters in the world will tell you that they work on their form all the time. And I've been able to do some front pause squats with 215 before, but it's one of those lifts, just like the deadlift and the bench press, that when you take a little bit of time off of doing them, you just have to regain that motor pattern and control before you could start upping the weight again. So with the deadlift here, I only threw 325 on the bar and just tried to focus on no belt, double overhand, keeping tight, and just pulling. You know, the last deadlift session I had, I went for a 5x5 with 365, and although the weight felt okay, I just wasn't happy with the form. So I decided to step back during this session and reset in between each rep, which is what you see here. Give myself a few seconds to really get tight, build up tension in the hamstrings, and then pull it off the floor. So definitely felt a lot better by backing off a little and working on form.
I never sweat, I'm dying. Flexes bicep, does deadlifts. Had a breath from posing. All right, so last set of 325, using double overhand, no chalk, no belt, just trying to really keep tight form. So you guys feel free to critique me in the comment section below. I appreciate it.
Alright, so I know this isn't the greatest view to do a critique on, and I apologize for that, but I have to say I could just tell that this looked and felt a lot better than the last set of 325. Now my grip was going a little bit, I didn't have any chalk, but I have to say overall I was much happier with these pulls.
Slipping! Hold on. Alright, so dropped it down to 205 from 325. I'm just going to do some rep work. Again, double overhand, trying to keep the core tight, working on form here. As I've mentioned, it's just been a while since I've done consistent deadlifts and squats, so I'm not even caring about how much weight's on the bar, just trying to keep tight. So, see how this goes.
So like I said, just 205 on the bar, focusing on form and speed off the ground, but that's pretty much going to conclude this commentary and video. If you guys enjoyed it, please don't forget to click that like button, as that really helps this channel grow, and I appreciate that. And also leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of the interaction during the video. You know, a lot of times I do the voiceovers and commentaries, but if you guys would like to maybe hear me talk during the actual training session so it's more personal, I can try and hit up the gym after hours, and while I train, I'll talk to the camera in between sets, you know, let you know what I'm doing, how I'm feeling. So leave your feedback on that. And if you're looking to hire an online coach, personal trainer, someone to help you with macros, cardio, training, whatever your goals are, go ahead and visit www.fusarofitness.com. So thanks as always, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.